Okay, narrative breakers, it looks like Stephen A. Smith has finally gotten tired of the Democrat Party and is officially making his exit. Although it comes from a bittersweet moment because he is now defending Republicans more than it appears that some Republicans are. We are in a strange place right now headed into 2025. This is my last video until the new year. Let's get into it.
The only way for Trump to pull this off is to make the argument that it's all about America. It's all about America. And anything that contributes to America being number one is something that we should support. That has to be his argument. And it gets very, very interesting because now it's a debate. And having that debate, here's where the advantage is. At least in the Trump administration, there appears to be a debate allowed. What has ailed the Democrats? It's not an ideology alone. It's not their feelings alone. It's the fact that if you refuted what they said, if you are a part of their party, cancel culture kicked in. If you were not a part of their party, it was ostracism, and it was ultimately hate mongering and fear mongering that were thrown into the equation. There was no room for a debate.
Now, I don't know Stephen A. Smith. We did have debate, but it wasn't really encouraged. Not at all. Today, we've seen Elon Musk come back and pretty much go full Roman emperor on a lot of people. He's banned a lot of accounts, claiming that it was because of organization. But like we was in a space today with like 30,000 listeners that debunked that. That's just not what it is. Even to the point where prolific Elon Musk supporters, ALX and Ashley St. Clair, have spoke out about this recent bannings. And the removal of people verification checks is so bad that someone that runs conservative.org confirmed that they lost their verification check after this happened because, of course, in case you guys don't know, Elon Musk seemingly removed the verification checks from people that was criticizing the H-1Bs. Now, one of those individuals is a pretty big organization. It's called conservative.org. And they claimed that someone was robbed out of $10,000 because they thought that they were talking to the conservative.org due to them not having their verification. So it's a breach in people's business. It's a breach in people's security. And God only knows what information they could do with these accounts by people perpetrating to be them. We're in a very dark place in society where Stephen A. Smith is encouraging more discourse than our supreme leader. And I'm not talking about Big Trump, Elon Musk. I don't like what's coming, where we're heading. And his response to my friends, you guys got to understand why I'm so passionate. These are my friends. These aren't just media pieces. These people are my friends. So it's different. I'm sorry that I'm passionate about my friends. And me and Laura Loomer, like I said, I'm not even like close with her. But what's happening to her, they put her in humiliation sessions, pretty much like a humiliation ritual, talked down on Laura Loomer like she was a mutt. I never seen someone got talked down on so bad in my life. It was one of the most disgusting things I witnessed. And they did it twice in 2X spaces. This isn't freedom. This isn't the America that we fight for. And I'm the type of conservative that I'm going to fight for us. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and let people do wrong by us. Because if we sit down and allow them to do wrong by one, that tells them they can do wrong by many.
And enough voices weren't being heard. Diversity amongst those voices not being heard. You're black, you're white, you're gay, you're lesbian, you're heterosexual, you're transgender. It don't matter. You still had to have one form of thinking if you fell under their umbrella. Otherwise, you were pushed out. If Trump is saying there needs to be a healthy debate about America first, meaning the country, or America first, meaning people born in this country, and sacrificing the best that may exist out there across the globe, and that's a discussion that's worth having, all of a sudden that opens the floodgates for an abundance of other things that we can discuss. But most importantly, I agree with the idea of there being an open, robust debate about it, because it is not something that the Democrats...
And that's what the weird thing is, that Stephen A. Smith is saying he agrees there should be a debate, but people are getting banned for trying to do just that. Like, man, what have we reached in American speech? Like, I'm hoping that this social media platform X isn't becoming what it was, or it appears that the transformation is complete. We needed this to be the town hall of America, and we never advocated for the censorship. I have a prime example. White Dudes for Harris had got banned Guess who advocated for them? Us. Conservatives gained together and said, hey, I don't know what's going on, but we want to have a fair fight versus Kamala Harris. White dudes for Harris should be put back on X. And they were brought back. We will advocate for our enemies. I'm going to advocate for my friends as well. It's just not fair. It's just not fair. These people livelihoods, you got to understand, these are people that could have had Patreons. So since they chose to trust X, they risk losing all of that money on their subscriptions that their subscribers went and clicked on. And it could have been on a Patreon and completely safe. So pretty much people are getting punished for trusting the quote-unquote free speech platform. And I have a main problem with that. There are people who livelihoods, people who are getting 4,000, 5,000 plus a month. I'm not on their subscriptions. This is paying the rent for many people. If you just pull that away from them the day before payday, what do you think gonna happen? Mass chaos. It's Mad Max out here. Because they've taken the money from people that need it, and that is very striking to me. To sit there and hit them on that day. Hey, when I got demonetized, it was on the day of payday. I got demonetized exactly 48 minutes before everyone else got their checks. Someone is playing a game with a lot of people's emotions, and conservatives need to start standing up. I'm tired of standing by myself. Now, I did see there was a space today, and a lot of us did come in there and speak on it. But the absolute fear, if we allow this, we're telling them that technocrats can run our party, that we are able to be bought. We got to still have that fire. And I'm not saying make Elon Musk the villain, but he has to understand that we aren't the liberals. You can't come in here and buy our culture, come in here and buy our values. We have to have an American standardized nuclear family going forward.
Allowed the Democrats stop letting people decide. One could easily argue. Their mentality seemed to be you must obey the party line or you're out in your ass. That seemed to be what they were saying. Censorship, cancer culture. There was no debate. That's why they're home. And Donald Trump is on his way back to the White House.
Tough week last week. And in case you're looking for Elon Musk's account on X, on the social media service, he has changed his name and his profile picture. The photo, the photo now of a, I don't know really.
That's Pepe.
That's Pepe.
Yeah.
But it says it's a photo of a frog. That's not a frog.
That's Pepe the
that
frog.
is a
that's
man
keep
frog.
reading.
Yeah,
Keep
but it's
reading.
not a frog. It's not a frog. It's a man. It's a man, a muscular man with a frog's face.
Mainstream media is so lost. This is a name that Elon Musk like to run around with in his Diablo video game, either that or Path to Exiles. And he goes by Kekius Maximus. I know ALX, the creator, he shared Kekius Maximus photos, I believe, like last November or this November, something like that, one of the two. But it seems to be a inside joke from Elon Musk for a while. But they, as always, mainstream media is completely dead. They're overdoing it. They're grasping at straws. But I tell you what's really happening. Elon Musk changed his profile picture and his name when he banned Groyper accounts. Not saying I agree with nothing, of course, YouTube disclaimer. But he banned people that have frog profile pictures. All of them, they pretty much utilize frog profile pictures. It was some big account called Project Groyp, a big frog profile picture. Elon Musk pretty much, in a way, because the timing is so crazy, it feels like he's put the skin on of his enemies. Yeah, we're in some crazy times.
His name
Pepe.
is now Kekius Maximus?
Kekius Maximus.
But you know what the frog
His
is,
new
right?
handle on is now, well, you say he's Pepe.
Yeah, it's Pepe. It is Pepe.
One of the...
It's a right-wing mascot.
It is?
Yeah. Since
Right.
like 2015.
right
Where have I
wing.
Yeah.
What does he talk about? What does he...
It's just a meme. It's a right-wing... This was like a big thing in like 2015, 2016.
Well, supposedly the name is of a crypto token that soared, Kekius Maximus, that soared 900% after Musk changed his name on X, and that's according to data from another reptile. It's an amphibian, I guess, a frog, but this is from CoinGecko. Reptiles are predated amphibians predated
first.
the reptiles. That's right.
Mainstream media is so dead. So here we go is Bernie Sanders. He actually spoke out against the H-1B, so it's not really a conservative issue. This was in 2020, or it definitely took place either 2020 or before. Nonetheless, it shows that it has been a issue from politicians and not just a partisan issue. This is for politicians that somewhat care about putting America first. If anyone knows me, they know I've said I like Bernie Sanders. He's one of the few Democrats I like. I feel like they robbed him. And to be honest, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. If they want to rob Bernie Sanders, that tells me there's a lot of good about him. He's looking out for somebody, and it ain't number one. So that tells me a lot, the fact that they constantly pushed him out and alienated Big Bernie. But let's go ahead and dive into this and see how Bernie Sanders pretty much broke down the same narrative that conservatives have and the issues with H-1B1s and how they can be manipulated and used against American workers.
In too many cases, the H-2B program for lower-skilled guest workers and the H-1B program for high-skilled guest workers are being used by employers to drive down the wages and benefits of American workers and to replace American workers with cheap labor from abroad. And here's what it comes down to. It comes down to supply and demand. And if the employers of this country need labor, let them start raising wages for American workers rather than bringing in cheap labor from all over this world.
And this was our argument. Bernie Sanders was on the same thing we on. He's saying instead of bringing in cheap labor, let's pay people more. I cannot believe we're agreeing with Bernie Sanders. God, what is happening? I don't like that. I'm agreeing with Stephen A. Smith. I'm agreeing with Bernie Sanders, and I'm disagreeing with some things with Elon Musk. Is this a true republic, or are we losing our way? I don't know which one it is, but it is very strange times that we're in. And like I said, it's not about not wanting immigrants. We think Americans should be paid because they are able to do the same work. We cannot sit here and believe the lie that we aren't qualified. We cannot doubt ourselves like that. We cannot talk down on ourselves like that, because it allows for people to come do the work that we can for cheaper. And it gaslights us being told that they're better. How are you better if you cheaper? There's no ifs, ands, and buts about that. You get what you pay for, and that's in all things. Now let's look at some of the people that got hit. Jake Shields, Fuentes, all of them lost their marks. Suleiman. Like I said, I might have a lot of viewers that don't even agree with these people in their quotes or none of the things they post about. But I can't sit here and agree with people losing their ability to have those subscribers that chose to come on that party, come on that app and subscribe to them. And they chose to trust Elon and X for those subscriptions. And to take that away from them is super, super sus. And for this to be the individual that wants to start up a banking app, the fact that you can just shut that off, you will not be having my money on the X banking app. And I will not be putting that brain chip in my head, because the simple fact, if I ever get too rowdy, too uppity, he could shut my black ass off. And that is a big problem. And that's where we're heading. We're going to have technocrats that show clear bias for their opinions, and they will silence and shut you down for this. If you notice it, these are going to be the same individuals that have the ability to control our brains at whim. Well, God damn it, I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist, but what has happened to America? Yep, Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit, a good friend, a real good friend, great person. Myron has some crazy content, yeah. But to sit there and remove that subscription system, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, that to me seems somewhat, I don't know. It's monetization is one thing, but those people chose to subscribe to you in that product. It's going to lose creators, and you need to have creators for a social media of any kind to thrive. I'm on here creating YouTube content. I could be on X releasing this video, but they have driven creators off so much that we don't feel safe. It's at the point where people are saying they don't even feel safe of sharing DMs with their close friends, because people now think that we're being monitored. It shouldn't get to this point, especially not for the accounts I'm talking to. Some of the largest accounts in America are terrified of sending DMs. Guys, I'm not here to turn you against anyone. Please don't watch this video and think I'm trying to turn you against some us and none of that. No, love who you want to love. Believe what you want to believe. I'm just here to speak of my experiences and my perception of what I'm seeing. But here we go. And so something else, while all this is going on, Sam Hoad is a creator, and he's going viral. Everyone that posts this video on YouTube and X, he's got millions of views on X and getting tens of thousands of views on YouTube for it. And he made a proposition to Elon Musk to kind of view the error of his ways. And I think it was about 30 to 40 minutes, but what we have is just about 2 minutes of the clips. And I think it's really worth you watching, because even Elon Musk's greatest supporters, except Ian Malchion, he is disgraceful. He will never admit to Elon having any mistakes. But even his greatest supporters are now sharing this video. And it's worth people watching it because he said what a lot of people need to hear, especially Elon Musk. This message was directly to Elon Musk from Sam Hoad.
You understand that the American people are on the ropes right now? Your people are not the world, okay? It's the American people. That's where this shit is popping off. That's where you came to do business. The American people are your problem now, to the extent that you want people to pay attention to your opinion. And by people, I mean actual people, not Patrick Bet-David, not Ian Miles Chong, Scott Adams, not these fucking faggots that'll walk around sucking your ass because you have money and because you made an electric car. But to the extent that you want that, you have to protect the American people. You're all about being pro-natalism and increasing the birth rate. Why is the average dude gonna wanna have kids when he can barely afford to live by himself and eat Domino's? Hey, why isn't China importing infinity Indians right now? If it's such a huge economic advantage, why isn't China doing it?
I've said that myself. Why is it that only America got to import all of these third worlders? If these people are so qualified and talented, I would think the entire world would be having their hands out, begging for these skilled, qualified, intelligent workers to enter their country, bless them, and help them propel to a more technologically advanced civilization. I mean, these people are skilled. They're the best of the best. But yet, it seems like the best of the best only are coming to the best country. Now, that could be the narrative itself, that the best of the best want to work for the best country. But my kind of argument would be, the world is so big, and there's so many of people coming from just kind of like India specifically, because that's the main country a lot of people are talking about, that America just isn't big enough for them. And if they were the best of the best, they would be traveling the world and be of high demand all across the world. And I'm not talking about through cheap labor. If someone was to kind of argue me, I want to see if they're getting the same wages as people that are natively from the country that they go to. That's my main point. If they aren't getting paid the same wages, then there's a huge problem in them being the best, because the best ain't going to settle for less.
We need to do a naval blockade of China to make sure they don't get any of these amazing Indians. Every Indian that makes his way into China is a threat, because China will use their genius to get one over on us. That's the biggest threat this country's facing, right? I think we need to go nuclear. I think we need to say, if China imports enough Indians, it's like diamonds. It's like nanotechnology. Indians are like nanotechnology. We have to be willing to use nuclear weapons to keep China from getting these precious Indians. That's step one. Sounds retarded, right? Because it is. It's retarded. It's subtarded. Ever hear of a subtard? By the way, Moist Critical coined that term, subtard. Competing with China in what sense? GDP? Making a number go up? Having software companies that are valued more highly? Competing with China in what sense? And at what cost? If the cost is making America look like Calcutta, that's not worth it. That's not a price.
He cooked in the whole video. If you guys want to see it out, I encourage you to go check it out. We don't have to hold you up for the 40 minutes. It can be found on YouTube, X, about every other social media. But this is going viral all across X, and it only is going viral because people want to say something to Elon Musk. They're just afraid of being slapped in the damn mouth, you know? And now we're at the point where we're having to share the messages of liberals like Stephen A. Smith because we're afraid to say it ourselves. I don't like that. I don't like where we're heading. And I don't believe President Trump will let this last and let this stand. Because if any of you know President Trump, he loves his people. He loves his people. We're so blessed and fortunate to have a president that cares about his people the way he does. And it's not looking good for us right now. Our careers, our hard work, all that is on the line. I could wake up any day and my ex be banned. I'd be so intimidated. I think I posted like 1-2 times a day and that's it. It's so bad right now. People are telling me, hey, you might not want to post right now. You might be next. I don't want to live in that type of reality. But we do. And the best way we can get past it is speaking up, having you listen, having you sharing the message. If you could possibly like this video, because somehow my average is going down. And I've had a targeting campaign ever since I was speaking about this stuff. I lose subscribers every time. There's a mass unfollow, subscriber attack going on my account, and they're also clicking on my videos and clicking off to kill my view rate. So if you guys could, and if you've actually made it this far, you're one of the people that has actually helped me stay in the game. But there are ways that you can sabotage channels, and it's just a cost of speaking truth, truth that isn't profitable. But yeah, there are council campaigns that's going on my YouTube channel right now, coming directly from X. So it's going to be a little bit harder for me to get my post in front of you for a little bit. Please click the notification bell so you stay updated. And Happy New Year's to everyone. This is my last video of 2024.